Welcome to Madison City Channel's Know Your Candidates interviews, co-sponsored by the League of Women Voters of Dane County. I'm your interviewer, Gail Bliss, and I would like to introduce Melissa Agard, running for Dane County Executive. As we begin, I'd like you to give your opening statement as to the educational, vocational, and civic experience you have, which qualifies you for this office, and why you are running for Dane County Executive.
Thank you, Gail, and to the League of Women's Voters for having me here today, and for all of the listeners who are actively engaging in our democracy. I know that democracy is a verb, it's not a noun, and I am so pleased to be part of that process. I am Senator Melissa Agard, and I am running to be your next Dane County Executive. Here in Dane County, we are at a pivotal moment where we need a proven, bold, effective leader in order to move us forward. Dane County isn't just where I live, but it was where I was born and raised, and where I'm raising my 4 amazing sons. And I understand the importance of county government, not just because I was a county board supervisor, a member of the state assembly and the Senate, but because when I was born and raised here in Dane County, the county was here for me and my family as a kid. Growing up, I learned how to shop with food stamps when they looked a little bit like Monopoly money stapled together. I got free lunches in school, and I'm thankful for those, but there were times I had to stand in a different line than the other kids. And I experienced housing insecurity as well. And I'm confident that my parents also received childcare assistance at that time. But because of the promise of a good, strong government, I grew up knowing that my dreams mattered. However, I know that we must and can do better here in our community. I lost my youngest brother to fentanyl poisoning during the COVID pandemic, and I have members of my family that have been directly impacted by the egregious and generational racial disparities that we experience. And I know my family is not unique. These are the stories of so many of our friends and neighbors, and we must address these issues front on, such as housing, behavioral health, and so many others. But in order to do that, we need to build on our history and our culture of having a county that cares for our most vulnerable friends and family members and neighbors, but also protecting what makes our community so very special. Whether it's our public lands and waters, our rural agricultural heritage, investing and supporting our businesses and our entrepreneurs, and lifting up our diverse workforce through workforce initiatives. All of this with the lens of fiscal responsibility. And my track record as a proven leader is unique, delivering real pragmatic solutions and results while being bold and unifying and unapologetic. I'm ready to lead Dane County into its next chapter and to build on the leadership of County Executives Parisi and Falk, who have both proudly endorsed my candidacy. Dane County is an exceptional place, and folks here genuinely care about one another. We also hold each other to a high standard, demanding hard work and a vision. I'm committed to protecting our heritage and leading our community forward during this time of growth and opportunity for Dane County. And I know that here in Dane County, we must be a community where everyone can thrive. Together, we can ensure that Dane County is the best place to live, work, and play and raise a family for absolutely everyone. We can be a national example. Through coalitions that I have built over the years and the support of elected officials and good people across the county, including my 4 amazing sons, it is humbling to be running for this office, but also a testament to my decades of service and record in our community, to be supported by mayors from every community in Wisconsin, statewide elected officials, legislators, county executives across the state, local electeds, as I mentioned, County Executive Parisi and Falk, and hopefully you. I ask for your trust and your vote in this election and look forward to moving Dane County forward into its next chapter.
Are there steps the county should take to increase the amount of affordable housing in Dane County?
Absolutely. In my hundreds of conversations with folks all across Dane County, it doesn't matter if it's towns, villages, or cities, housing access is at the top of the list of needs in our community. We are at a precipice of being able to address the solution in the next 5 years. Dane County has invested in a year-long project, bringing stakeholders to the table and putting a report together called the Dane County Regional Housing Strategy. The folks that were at this table is collaborative, it is unique, and it is vital that we ensure that we're not letting anyone off the road. We need to invest in more affordable, stable housing for people who are on the edge. We need to ensure that we have eviction prevention services for people in our communities, transitional housing for people who want to move out of their homes after their children are grown, but stay in the community, have single family homes, more rentals. It is a matter of having more of everything. We need government, nonprofits, corporations, and philanthropy to roll up their sleeves and work together to address this solution. Because I know that in order for Dane County to be successful, everyone needs to have a safe and stable place to live. Housing is a human right, and Dane County has a role in ensuring this truth for our friends and neighbors.
How would you increase the efficiency and fairness of the Dane County justice system?
So let's be clear. Our justice system is not just. This isn't simply a Dane County issue or a Wisconsin issue. This is something that we're grappling with at a national level. But it is vitally important that we reinstill justice into the justice system. Simply by building a new jail here in Dane County, which was necessary, we need to also change how it is that we're delivering services to our community. We need to ensure that we have public safety that is meeting the needs of the most vulnerable people in our communities, that we're focusing on intervention and prevention as opposed to punishment. Whether it's alternative to incarceration programs, increasing the number of social workers, training our police officers and first responders, expanding the CARES program to outside of the city of Madison to all corners of Dane County, doing everything that we can to support mental health and addiction treatment services for people who are touching the criminal justice system, and bringing people with lived experience to the table to hear what works and what doesn't work for the people who are living within that system. We need evidence-based, human-focused policies that lift up and help people move forward, as well as prevent people from entering into the justice system. That's how we in Dane County will be national leaders.
Thank you. The Crisis Resource Center and expansion of the CARES program outside of Madison have been proposed as ways to address the needs of individuals with mental illnesses. Do you believe there are further actions the county should take to address mental health issues?
So behavioral health and mental health are something that we all should be comfortable speaking with. And facts and science matter. This is a real epidemic within our communities. I applaud County Executive Parisi for investing $2 million into our public schools to address the behavioral health needs of the students there. We know that there are many things that we can do aside from, but applauding, as I mentioned in my previous answer, the expansion of the CARES program, the training of our 911 operators, and ensuring that we do have 911 operators on staff 24/7 who can divert the mental health calls away from the public safety calls. Peer support, funding for our social workers and frontline prevention workers, and also destigmatizing the inability for people to talk about their behavioral health needs as a society. We can do better when it comes to mental health. We have a lot to celebrate, but we have a lot to continue to do.
Thank you. Concerns continue about noise abatement related to the presence of F-35 fighter jets and PFAS pollution at the airport. What would you seek to do about these concerns if elected?
So, as a state senator, I have been on the front lines of these issues. And I am proud to say that I have drafted the most comprehensive legislation in the nation to address PFAS in the state of Wisconsin. It is unfortunate that the majority party in our state hasn't allowed us to have that conversation and move those policies forward. But we know what it is that we can do to ensure that our water and our air is clean and safe for all of us to drink and breathe. I live very close to the airport and am right in the flight patterns. I hear that the airplanes flying over, whether they're commercial or military or private. And it is something that we need to take seriously in our communities. I have been working earnestly with our state and federal delegation to advocate for noise abatement dollars and resources for us to be using here in Dane County, because I know that in order for people to be able to come home and rest and relax, their homes need to be a safe place.
Thank you. The racial disparities in Dane County are varied and widespread. What specific actions would your administration address to start unwinding these discrepancies? Discrepancies, yes.
So these are generational problems. Racial disparities are generational here in Dane County. And as I mentioned, I have family members that have been directly impacted by those disparities. We need Dane County to be a place where everyone knows they're safe and that they know their dreams matter and their kids and they can grow up to be safe and successful. We do have experience in what it is that we can do, but we need more dollars. We need to be advocating our state delegation to write our shared revenue so that we have more money that we can be investing in employment opportunities, housing, increasing the minimum wage, ensuring that everyone has access to healthcare so that they can take care of themselves, work with our school districts to increase graduation rates and have rigorous education paths for our children that isn't just a four-year college path, but also into the trades and business ownership and entrepreneurship, removing barriers to transportation, and frankly, supportive employment, training, and investments in the people in our communities. We can and must do better when it comes to our racial disparities. We've been talking about this, as I said, for generations. And by showing up and building coalitions, building on the coalitions that I have brought together over the years, I am confident that we will be able to move the ball forward and not be the worst in the state and in the nation when it comes to our racial disparities.
Thank you. Please describe any other priorities for your term in office and how you would propose to fund them.
So we are lucky in Dane County in the fact that we are not in the same situation as so many other layers of government. Right now, the city of Madison and many school districts are talking about going to referendum in order to just continue to keep the wheels on the track. We need to have strong and bold fiscal management to ensure that we continue on that track record. But also, we need to not be afraid to work with our counterparts at the state and the federal government, as well as those in our municipal governments, to ensure that we're collaborating with one another in the best ways possible to advocate for increases to shared revenue, as well as decreasing the cost to provide services to folks within our communities. Listen, county government is about delivering on mandated services that are defined by our state and feds. And when we have additional dollars, we can do creative, innovative services, deliver creative and innovative services to members of our community that are so very needed. And whether it is that advocating for shared revenue, looking at existing items in our budgets and ensuring that we are putting those dollars where we're getting the most bang for our buck and impacting those that are most vulnerable and changing the direction of things. I know that by bringing together the public, private, and philanthropic arms that exist in Dane County, that we're going to be able to solve some of these generational problems. We're going to be able to be innovative, and we're going to be able to protect our culture and our heritage right here in Dane County. Whether it's behavioral health, transportation, racial disparities, access to housing, let's sharpen our pencils. Let's be creative. Let's build those coalitions, and let's ensure that Dane County is a leader, not just in Wisconsin, but across the nation, in being a place where people want to come, put down their roots, and take care of one another.
Thank you. What would you like to say to the viewing audience as we complete this interview?
Well, thank you so much to League of Women Voters and to you, Gail, for hosting this interview today. I know that each and every one of us is very, very busy, but it is vitally important that we roll up our sleeves and be part of our democracy. I hope people show up to vote in the November or in the August election, not just for this race, but also because there are two very important constitutional amendments on the ballot that were put there for partisan gain by the Republican majority in the state of Wisconsin that would be harmful to our governor in the state of Wisconsin and directly to Dane County. So please do your homework on everything that is on the ballot, including these referendum questions that have been put in by our state legislature. I am Melissa Agard, and I am thrilled to be a candidate for Dane County Executive. I know that we deserve and need a proven leader who is a collaborator, who is unapologetic about getting things done for people all across Dane County. And it is clear to me from the countless conversations that I've had with folks in every corner of Dane County that there is a desire to come together to the table and solve the generational problems that we have, but also protect what makes Dane County so special and move our community forward. By protecting our democracy, investing in our workforce, and taking care of the most vulnerable folks who call Dane County home, as well as protecting and preserving the best parts of our communities, we will lead the way nationally. I am honored to have the support and endorsement of folks at all levels of government, including County Executive Parisi and Kathleen Falk, a broad coalition of current and former mayors representing communities across Dane County, statewide elected officials, legislators, local officials, and most importantly, folks from every corner of our community, including my 4 amazing sons. These folks know that I am the leader that has a proven track record that we need, someone who is committed to showing up, listening, being engaged, and rolling up our sleeves for everyone across Dane County. I ask for your trust and your vote on my next chapter of service to Dane County as your county executive.
Thank you. I want to thank Melissa Agard for speaking with us and thank the viewing audience for taking the time to know your candidates. I want to remind everyone that primary election day is Tuesday, August 13th, and the general election is Tuesday, November 5th. Every election is important. Please vote. On behalf of the Madison City Channel and the League of Women Voters of Dane County, I thank you for joining us.